The present moment is always right here. True happiness lies within being in the present moment. But often our present moment experience becomes clouded by thoughts of the future, thoughts of the past, any explanations of why things ended the way they did, why we didn't do certain things we could have done better, or different things to worry about for the future. We're always in subtle ways looking over our shoulder, anticipating what's happening next. We're always trying to solve a problem. But what if we can drop all of that and just rest with ease in the present? So when we're practicing awareness of the present moment, we call this meditation. Meditation practice, what is it? Simply, we're practicing increasing our availability and our mental capacity and our mental sharpness and attunement outside of the future and the past that don't exist and into the present. Things that we see, we hear, we smell, we taste, and we feel. These different senses, and even thoughts themselves, are all little things arising within the present. So, think about an example of a time where you wish you were more present. Maybe someone you know your friend you have got a promotion at work. And you look back and you realize, God, I really didn't show them appreciation and thanks and some sort of thoughtful gesture. Or let's say you were driving and you winded up bumping into another car. And you're like, gosh, how did I do that? Was I even paying attention? First of all, don't be hard on yourself. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because there's many moments in our lives where we weren't fully present. And maybe this was when our significant other wanted us to listen to a story they had, or a moment where we're watching a sports game, and let's say it's a football game, and let's say it's a tied score, and let's say one of the teams has 5 seconds left on the clock, and then time runs out. They forgot to take a timeout. This is an example of in sports, but it's just showing these little mental lapses, these little gaps in our awareness of the present moment, where we're just kind of lost in thought and we lose track of the present. So when we're practicing increasing our awareness of the present moment, we call this meditation. So let's try to do a quick practice. So make sure you have a straight posture. Your feet are flat on the ground. And you can gently close your eyes. And just connect with the vibrations in the air tickling your eardrums. We call this sound. What can you hear right now? You might first have the thought, well, I don't hear anything. There's nothing. I'm not listening to music. No one's talking. But really lean into the present moment right now. And connect with the sounds around you. And if you have any thoughts or any judgments or explanations or narration, just simply let this go and come back to listening. You might hear pressure in the air. You might hear people talking around you. You might hear cars passing by. There might be some sounds that are short, some that are long. Just try to listen with interest. Try to listen a little longer than usual. And any thoughts that arise, just simply let them go and come back to listening to the subtle sounds around you. What if you were listening to music? Try to listen to the present moment like that. Just like in songs, when we can hear the beat of the drums and the melody of the bass. All these different points of the sound coalescing together to make a symphony. Try to listen to the moment right now like that. And as we start to transition out of this meditation practice, just always feeling free to take a deep breath. And once again, making sure that you realize that the present moment's right in front of you. We're not digging for it. We don't have to create it or change it. All we have to do is simply open our eyes. And feel free to open your eyes right now. So listening to the sounds around you is one of the most easiest ways to really connect with the present moment. One of my favorite authors, Alan Watts, causes my curiosity to really spark. And one of the things he talks about in meditation practice is how if you simply listen to the natural hum and buzz of the world, as if you were listening to music, this can be the easiest way to get into the meditative state. So how did that go for you? When we're first starting the meditation practice, realize that the automaticity of thoughts is continuous. Maybe as you're listening to me right now, you might have thoughts of, I really still don't get this. Or you might have a thought, wow, that went really well. That these thoughts are constantly layering on our experience of the present. It doesn't mean that they're all negative and they're all bad, but they take away from the purity of the present. And I'm not saying all thoughts are bad and we don't like thoughts. Thoughts can be very helpful. But what isn't helpful is when we become lost in the thought. We're thinking without really being conscious and aware that we're thinking. And this is what we're practicing to become aware of through meditation practices. Keyword being aware. Right? Like picture the difference between consciousness and awareness. Like picture your best friend, your spouse is talking to you. And then you kind of just start hearing more, kind of like a cartoon. and you can't really hear what they're saying. You're kind of zoning out. And then all of a sudden you hear, "Are you even listening to me?" And you realize that in some sense you were conscious they were talking, but you weren't fully aware of it. And you don't really remember what they said, or maybe you even remember what they said, but it didn't really sink in. You're hearing it, but you're not really listening to it. And this is typically our experience of the present. Is yes, if we're driving, of course I can see that car driving in the other direction. Of course I can see the car in front of me, it just took a right turn. So in some sense we're conscious of it, of course, because if we weren't, there'd be a whole lot of car accidents. But we're not fully in the present. We might not fully be in our peripheral seeing the beautiful trees around us, or hearing the sound of our own car driving, or feeling the vibration of our car when we're sitting in it, or listening to our friend in the passenger seat when they're talking about their day. By fully being present, we expunge all of the crust in our eyes, so to speak, so that we can really see. So let's try another little practice here. All right, so what I want you to do is we're actually going to be keeping our eyes open. And when you have them open, try to just have a soft gaze with your eyes. Like, look at the difference in my eyes right now. This versus this. So just trying to have just this easeful, loose, relaxed vibe, starting with your eyes. And you can always take some deep breaths. If you want to close your eyes for the inhale, and open it for the exhale. Doing that a few times. And now what I want you to do is I want you to realize that everything around you is already there. The sounds in your environment right now are already there. The feelings and the vibration and the buzzing and the warmth and pressure of the sensations of your body sitting in your chair right now are already there. They're just waiting for you to really pay attention to them. So we're not doing this deep searching. We're not doing digging to create something that is the present moment. The present moment is already here. It's just waiting for you to really pay attention to it and appreciate it and to be curious about it. So with these soft eyes, what I want you to do is I want you to just look around in your environment for a moment. You don't have to do a whole 360, but just looking forward and looking at all the different things you see. What I want you to do is to do a little mental note. And a mental note is a little skill we use in the practice of meditation, where we're just saying in our minds, labeling something like book, chair, guitar, ceiling, light, door, but non-verbally. And not non-verbally where you're in your mind and you're saying it loudly, but almost like a whisper in your mind. And you're going to be labeling different things you see around you. Maybe say a different label about every 2 seconds. So in your mind, you might have it like this: book, nature, window. And just do that for the next 30 seconds or so. And just doing this for a few more moments. And just another 5 seconds. Just labeling 2 more things. All right, now we're done. And the point of this exercise is to become aware of all the different things around you. It's like you've probably seen pictures where the focus of the picture was very sharp and clear, and then the rest of the picture in the background was kind of blurred. And this can make beautiful pictures. But often this is kind of how we view the present moment, is we're kind of fixated on one thing, and everything else is kind of blurred. But in this practice, we were trying to clearly see everything, the whole picture. So when you hear the word meditation, often it's misconstrued as reaching some mystic state, or something like stopping all of my thoughts. And then we sit down for 30 seconds to a minute, we realize we're constantly thinking, and we say, I can't meditate, it's not possible. I'm not some special monk that can do it. Anyone can practice meditation. It's simply increasing and practicing our awareness of the present moment. So in this moment right now, do something very similar. We're going to be going through our different senses. We're going to be doing sight, sound, and touch. So for 10 seconds, we're going to be focusing on everything we can see. And for the next 10 seconds, it'll be what we can feel in our body. And then the 10 seconds after that, it's going to be connecting with what we can listen to. So it's going to be feel, sound, and vision. So for these first 10 seconds, with soft eyes, just become aware of what you can see. You don't have to label, just look. And now become aware of what you can listen to. And now become aware of what you can feel in your body. Warmth, pressure of your feet on the ground, anything. And taking a big deep breath now. So what you might realize in this practice is that the present moment is just waiting for us to pay attention to it. Everything is already here. All the answers to the present moment test are already there. Everything is just waiting for us to have little curiosity and enough interest to pay attention to it. And we live in a world that's filled with distractions and different stimuli just trying to grab our attention. And there's a lot of useful things about phones and other digital devices, but we spend so much of our life looking down at a screen than we do looking up at the world. So just having a little interest and curiosity about the world, what you can see and feel and hear, and have a way of being that isn't about creating and performing or explaining, but just simply being. We don't always have to be doing something, but we can just be. So I hope you were able to find some usefulness from this video, and me forgetting which sense I was talking about: vision, sound, all that stuff. But what I want you to really take away from this is the fact that we don't have to constantly explain and think about the future and think about the past and become blurred to what's really in front of us. There's a lot of beauty in it. This is a little saying I like to keep around in my room. The present is always right here. This is where true happiness lies. Because when we become engrossed in anticipating and worrying about the future, we become anxious and we become uncertain and we become sidetracked and distracted from the now. And maybe we're thinking about the past and what we should have done or what we could have done. And we become distracted from seeing the beauty right in front of us. So I hope this was useful for you guys. If you have any questions, please email me, and I look forward to next week's video. Have a beautiful day and a mindful rest of your week. Take care.